What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about something that's, obviously, this is going to be a bit more of a subjective video. And, I think this is an interesting topic that I haven't brought up yet. So, let's say the NFA were to get repealed tomorrow. What would be the first NFA item I would buy and why? So let's get right into it. No more beating around the bush. So you got to think of a couple of things from my perspective here when I'm trying to decide what it would be, right? You got a lot on the list here. It could be something as, simple as shortening the barrel on my AR, my AK, or my shotgun. It could be something as little as, maybe getting a switch for a Glock. It could be something as little as a suppressor. So let's talk about what it might be, why I would want it, and, let's just talk about it, right? So we're going to talk about this from a practicality standpoint, considering I am a 23-year-old man in Florida. I don't know what more I have to say here. I'm not exactly flush with cash, people. So you got to remember that I am going to have to think of that, that concept as well while coming down to this. And of course, I will give you guys as well what my first choice would be if money was no issue. So for starters, what my first choice would be if money was no issue, probably is going to be a legitimate MP5, a non-neutered full auto MP5. Probably would put a suppressor on it as well. However, the reason why if money was no option, I would go for something like a submachine gun like the MP5, beyond the notoriety of it, beyond the effectiveness of it, beyond just the cool factor of it. Do you know how difficult it would be to find a completely not neutered MP5, just exactly how they originally were? It's going to be almost impossible. 1. 2, the price point is going to be through the roof. So let me start with saying that's the exact reason why I said if money was no option. Because truth be told, in order to find one of those, I probably would have to, sell a used car or something. Not too used, but you get my point. Now, moving on, right, I want to talk about in a more realistic and common sense standpoint of what I would get tomorrow. If tomorrow the NFA was repealed, what would be the first item I would get and why? It would be a suppressor. And there are a couple of reasons why. I'm sure some of you guys can guess why. However, my biggest reason, of course, is simply going to be for not having to deal with the hearing damage or the ear damage. Suppressors make that much of a difference, guys. I'm sorry, but truth be told, I already have a gun in my mind that I would put this suppressor to already. That, the ability to be able to hear things, the capabilities of hearing. It's something that people, I don't know why, they often overlook, but you just can't in the end. Some people would like to make the argument, oh, well, if that's the case, if your argument is for hearing, then why don't you just have ear protection next to, your bed or whatever for home defense? Man, who's going to sit there and want to completely cut off one of their senses almost just to avoid ear damage? Now, of course, there are some pros, for example, the loudness of, a firearm itself. However, you also have to remember it's not just me I have to worry about in my home when it comes to, when it comes to ear damage, and hearing issues. When it comes to that, I'm not the only one I have to worry about here. I have my wife, sometimes we have guests over, whatnot. And yeah, it does become a situation where I have to not want to sit here and be as loud as possible. Now, beyond just, the protection of my hearing, the protection of, whoever else might be in the home's hearing, another reason why is simply due to the fact that, one, the gun, I'm going to tell you guys what setup I would have too. I would get the FNX 45 Tactical and FDE. I would get that. So when we're talking about getting a suppressor, you got to talk about which gun you're going to put it on, of course, what caliber you're going to shoot out of it. You're going to talk about whether you have to buy special subsonic ammo for that caliber. There are a bunch of different things that you have to think about when we're talking about a suppressor here. And man, does 45 ACP not... 45 ACP is phenomenal when suppressed. Every little bit of research I have done has not pointed me in any other direction than, yep, 45 ACP suppressed, a blessing on the ears. So yeah, I mean, that would probably be the gun that I would use for, home defense if the NFA was repealed, because I would get a suppressor literally that day. It would be almost instantaneous that if the NFA got repealed, I would have a suppressor that day. That's exactly the gun it would go on and everything. I mean, come on here. Like, now, I understand this is a very subjective video. This is me more so going on a rant about why I personally would choose a suppressor as the first thing I would get if the NFA got repealed. However, I mean, there are so many different things that the NFA covers. I know some people are going to comment and be like, nah, I'd rather get a belt-fed machine gun. Some people are going to be like, oh yeah, well, I'd rather get, a submachine gun. I'd rather just get, full auto AK, a full auto AR, whatever. I'd rather get a Tommy gun. There's going to be a lot of different things. There's going to be some people from the hood that's like, oh, I'd rather get a Glock switch and not worry about 15 years in prison. There's going to be a bunch of different comments down below. Just people talking about what they would get if it didn't matter the legality of it. And I hear where you guys are coming from. However, this is simply from my standpoint, and this is me thinking about it from a more realistic aspect as well. Meaning, yeah, if the NFA got repealed tomorrow, I probably am not going to have the money to go get myself an MP5. However, I probably will have the money to go get myself a suppressor. You see what I mean? There's a big difference there when it comes to a price point that influence my decision, of course. Now, once again, if money was no option in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to get a legitimate MP5 full auto. I probably would get a suppressor on it as well and get some good subsonic ammo for it. But that's 2 NFA items at that point, But my whole point is simply, I'm getting off topic here, I can tell. But in the end, I want everybody to comment down below what you guys would get if the NFA was repealed tomorrow and why. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to keep going in circles here. Y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all. And whether or not you agree with me on my choice of item I would get, or excuse me, my choice of NFA item I would get if the NFA was repealed, let's say tomorrow, comment down below why you would agree or disagree with my choice. I just want to hear it. Of course, understand this is from my standpoint, my viewpoint of what would be most useful and easiest to get for me. But comment down below what you would get, or if you agree with me, comment why you agree with me. But with that being said, y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.